Football.
Speaking of football, it's a Fast Friday, or that's what he calls it. Bryan Kehl is in studio, and this is my first opportunity to hang out on a Friday with Bryan and Bryan. So what can I expect here? Just give me
Don't
an
get
idea.
lost in the shuffle. It's going to be quick, fast, elusive.
I like running a fast offense, so let's go.
You're hanging with B&B.
That's
so
right.
I think what we figured out is it's Big B, Little B, featuring Jerome.
Jerome, yeah.
I'm in there somewhere, but I'm not one of the main guys. Okay, so our Twitter question today is revolved around BYU and this growing college football trend to play some games outside the country, Bryan.
Ooh.
Baylor might open the 2016 season in Australia against the Pac-12 team. UCF played Penn State in Ireland last year. Notre Dame 2 years ago in Ireland. BYU's played 2 games. They played in Japan and Australia back in the 70s and 80s. Do you want BYU to play a game outside the country one day?
Sure. I thought, in my mind, just thinking about that opportunity, that'd be fun. Would you? What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
I would have loved.
If I'm a player, I would definitely love to do that. I don't got to go to school for a
week.
While, right? Like a week. I'm good there, and then just to
So
play.
he went right to the perks.
Right there, not the game.
No, not at all. Secondly, the game would be pretty cool, and the fact that when you travel as a BYU player, it's still somewhat of a home game because you get the fans and the fan base. I mean, Bryan, if you're a recruit and you're sitting down, you're seeing that schedule, and then one of those games you're playing overseas. I mean, what does that do for you as a
It's going to jump out off the page to me. And when I was in high school, I had never even been out of the country. So the prospect of going that's just something cool. There's a lot of people that haven't been out of the country. Yeah. So, I mean, that's cool. I think it's just fun and exciting. Get on the airplane, go across the pond.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, sign me up.
So, specifically, our Twitter question is this. Where would you like to see BYU football play a game outside the U.S. and why?
Where? Okay, well, I don't know.
Where would you like to play, man?
We can tell
Maybe Europe.
Somewhere in Europe?
Yeah, Europe would be cool, I think. I've never been there still. So, I'll go with Europe.
Okay.
Is my final answer.
We kind of both said New Zealand and Australia.
Oh, you guys are going for the top. Okay.
Because we think that BYU could recruit a little bit via this game.
So you guys are on a business trip.
More strategic, man.
I don't want to be on a business trip.
We're about the dollars. We're about the dollars, man.
I like where your mind's at. I can't stomach that flight.
You was over here trying to have vacation. That's what you was doing.
Well, I just can't make that flight. Not everybody can be in business class. The coaches are going to be up there. Tom Holmoe's probably going to be up there, but the players are going to be
when Mo Longy
for
right
18 hours. Yeah. I can't make that flight.
No, yeah. You think about just being comfortable, right?
The longest to this day, the longest I've ever been on a flight is 6 hours to Hawaii, and that is death to me. So the idea of 18 hours or whatever it is.
Did you go with your kids? Did you have kids?
Have you done it?
Yeah, I did. I have a 3-year-old. Yep.
You were probably looking for that parachute off.
Man. I went to the bathroom like 5 times. back of the airplane.
Bryan Kehl is on BYU Sports Nation. Another topic we've discussed this week, looking at all the awesome games on BYU's schedule, what would be the biggest potential win among them?
Just over the next couple of years?
Of this upcoming season.
Because I had one in my mind when you first framed that question that we talked about LSU.
LSU.
It sticks out, doesn't it?
It does, man. It's just, they've had multiple national championships in the last decade. They're in the SEC. They're a premier team in the SEC. They yearly put some of the best athletes into the NFL. I mean, that's the creme de la creme right there.
Oh, yeah. To play, I mean, think about that, too. And this is something that was brought up to me the other day with the players. If you lose one game as a player, an independent, you don't have nothing to play for, whatever, your season's over. But that's baloney, man.
Yeah,
especially
when you got that on your schedule.
And it's a season opener.
LSU,
that's a nugget.
I mean,
it's a season opener, neutral
that is
site.
a nugget.
The country, everyone would know.
That's
BYU,
a nugget.
Like
right
Oklahoma,
there.
it's Oklahoma Part 2. It really is.
But those types of games, man. I mean, I don't care if my team is. If we've only lost or won 3 games, I still got to perform for the next level for scouts.
See, and they play some big teams next year, really big teams. It's one of the toughest schedules ever. But in terms of the last decade, like Michigan, it has more history than LSU. But right now, they're not in the same universe. Yeah. As far as they might get there with the new coach, who's a good coach, but.
Yeah, not quite yet. So of this season's games, you got Nebraska, Boise State, UCLA, Michigan, Missouri. Those are kind of the top 5.
This season's game.
What would be the biggest potential win?
It depends on what those programs do this year. You know, I would say Missouri.
Let's say they all finish
with similar records.
Similar records. Let's just say top 25.
If they're all in the top 25, then in my mind, I don't know. Nebraska, Michigan, or Missouri, they'd all be about equal. If they were ranked about the same, I think that's all about the same quality of win.
Okay.
You know.
As far as just the brand.
Now, if you're talking about if one of them's up there in the top 10, then it's obvious. Yeah. You know, or something like that. But
which could be UCLA.
Right now, UCLA, the national perception is that UCLA.
Where are those 3 games at?
Nebraska on the road, UCLA on the road, Michigan on the road, Missouri neutral at Arrowhead Stadium.
Okay. So then I would say those other 2 that are in their stadium, that's a little bit of a bigger win. If you go into their house and beat them,
a true road win.
If they have similar years and they're similar, you know, you go into Nebraska and beat them, you go into the big house and beat them. That's a little different than beating Missouri at a neutral site, which is still, it's way closer to them.
That's like SEC East champs back-to-back years.
That's like Oklahoma, man. You were at that game.
I was at that game.
Tell these people how the sea of red that you saw.
Oh, it was still.
We had a sliver.
It wasn't a home game for Oklahoma.
Oh.
It was a
Texas and Oklahoma.
It was a summer home game for Oklahoma. They were just down the street at their summer home.
It was a sliver, dude.
Yeah,
blue. I was like, that's messed up.
Yeah.
They
and
just
I was
didn't
going
give us
nuts on the sideline.
And yet BYU won.